In the last episode, we continue our journey looking for shards of the broken sword of the stranger, this time guarded by the spirits of the ancient and powerful Nephilim, who claim that we are a part of their lost lineage. And, of course, again, we are barred by the witch Magda and her evil coven, yet overcome them, taking the shard to New Tristram and the mysterious stranger once more. And it seems we're only missing the hilt until the sword is complete.
Here, the second piece of the sword. Magda now seeks the third.
I remember a glow streaking towards a fishing village.
The only fishing village near here is Wortham.
You're right, Leah. It must be Wortham. There is a ferry on the edge of Tristram that will take you there.
Before we head to the nearby fishing village of Wortham, we have questions. Why is this stranger being targeted specifically by the coven?
Tell me of this coven.
I have no memory of them, except a feeling, a darkness that is known to me.
Known to you?
The coven may be part of a greater evil. Perhaps I intended to fight it.
You'll need your sword.
Although we're uneasy that this man knows evil, we cannot help but feel that he is just in his cause. Heading southwest and around the corner, we begin our travels to the ferry and to the town of Wortham. However, a villager's wife glances at us as if she's in need of our help, but surprised to hear.
Wife, don't think I don't see you undressing our fine hero with your treacherous eyes.
I would look at you instead had you a weapon like that.
Somebody buy this man a halberd and his wife a sense of decency. Just north, we hear two guards discussing the safety of the village, saying,
I was thinking
Don't hurt yourself.
that we should try to recruit more soldiers. What happens if we get attacked again?
We just spent a week fighting off hundreds of walking corpses outside our impenetrable gates. We're the hardest bastards within 100 miles. Who's going to attack us?
Although we do admire their courage facing the walking dead, we have witnessed horrors that would make the zombies at the gate pale by comparison. It's then we head southwest and down to the docks and see a stout man standing at the end of the dock that is swinging his lantern to and fro. It looks like something's got him jittery.
Wortham, please.
I will take you, but beware. Smoke rises from the village.
Arriving at Wortham, we see the sky filled with embers, dead villagers scattered about, and a man runs past screaming,
They're destroying the town! Get out while you can!
We check on the villagers, but they've been badly burnt and left for dead. Heading around the south of the building, we try stealth. However, we're pounced upon by the local coven, and it looks like we're far too late. On the ground, we see a priest's satchel. However, before we can pick up the book, more coven acolytes rush us. Scorched by a mage flinging fireballs, we contend with him before reading the burnt journal.
One of the men retrieved a strange artifact in his nets. It looked like a hilt of an ancient blade, but I know it must be more. The fisherman argued with me, but I convinced him to leave it in the safety of the chapel, a holy place for a holy relic.
By the light, they found a relic. Before we can contemplate this, the coven rout us.
Death to those who defy the power of the coven.
We're too late.
Don't give up.
No, due to the priest's journal keeping the hilt of the blade at the local chapel, the coven, now desperate, have a score of their acolytes between us and our goal. We look around momentarily at the village that is now in cinders and contemplate how lost can this coven be that they would burn a village full of civilians just for a hilt of a sword. And what does the sword itself mean to them or their dark master? We have many questions for Magda and feel that soon we will have answers. Heading north to the town center, we encounter a disheveled villager who pleads,
Please, my family's hiding in the chapel with the rest of the townsfolk. We must get to them.
Don't run off! You'll get yourself killed!
More dead villagers litter the streets, and we can't help but feel afraid. This is the outcome for most of the townsfolk of Wortham. Heading closer to the chapel, a dozen coven await our arrival and attack in unison. We unfortunately fall for their trap as we step back on our heels, dealing with the dark dagger-wielding cultists, throwing our shield at them as it ricochets and they explode in gore, exposed to the dark evokers the whole time.
The people in the chapel need my help. I'm going on ahead.
Fools! You cannot keep the sword from me!
This is bad.
My servants will burn this town to ashes!
Magda, keeping to her promise, summons more cultists to try and overwhelm us, led by the super unique evoker Urzel Mordreg. Content to fling fireballs, we then breach the gap. However, they summon a demonic creature to their side and more evokers to try and attack us in tandem from behind. We hit them with a falling sword and thrust our halberd into their guts.
I hear something coming.
A foe worth killing.
Magda is pulling no punches as she summons a trio of dark berserkers. Although berserkers are said to be weak by the standards of demonkind, their strength is still far greater than that of any human. The means of summoning them was actually discovered, supposedly, by the Archbishop Lazarus, though it seems now these black-blooded fiends are in service of Magda and the Coven.
The people in the chapel need my help. I'm going on ahead.
Leah then goes ahead to help out the villagers. We ourselves move north and see the chapel. Some of the villagers that were hiding inside start to scramble out, and as we look closer, we realize they seem to be okay, or at least have fared better than the Coven themselves. Just to the east of the chapel, we see a priest out the front, who no doubt owned the journal. Speaking to him, he says,
I seek the hilt of a sword. It fell from the sky. Have you seen it?
We found it days ago. I wish we'd never brought it here. Come, I left Virgil to guard it. We will be glad to be rid of it.
I'm going back to Tristram to check on Uncle Deckard.
Her uncle departs our company, and we promptly head into the cellar of the Wortham chapel, now set ablaze, so we must make haste. Inside the chapel, the walls are crumbling as it burns and cinders around us. Checking the shelves and any hiding places that we can think of, we then discover poor Virgil. We check on his corpse. It doesn't seem that he died of smoke inhalation. A pool of blood around his body reveals he was massacred where he stood, as if mimicking the gruesome depiction in the macabre art above his body. We move into the next room and what's this? We see the hilt on a table, but it's a ruse.
It's gone.
While you were on your hero's errand here, I captured all 3 sword pieces and your friends.
I should have known. I must get back to Cain's house.
We're now at a severe disadvantage. Magda has all the pieces of the sword and our allies. We make haste to the waypoint at the northern wall and pause momentarily. Looking at all of the otherworldly art, we cannot help but think these events appear to be a part of a much larger scheme. Entering New Tristram, we race to Cain's house and enter to see too late.
It's your choice, Cain. Either use your Herodric arts to repair the sword, or your dear Leah dies a horrible death.
All this pain, this destruction. What is the sword to you?
To me, nothing. To my master, Belial, everything. Your rage is overwhelming, girl. You win this round, but if the sword cannot be mine, I'll claim the one it's bound to. In the end, the blade blade shall be mine!
Uncle, you can't die.
Nothing can stop that now. But there is one last thing I must do. The sword must be made whole. Just as I suspected, the sword is of the high heavens. The stranger is an angel. Heed the journal. The truth lies within.
Uncle Deckard!
With Cain dead, the stranger lost and the sword absconded with, all we can do is comfort Leah somewhat before we begin on the trail of the coven and their dark master Belial for the sword once more.